morning, everybody. What is up, and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Liz, and welcome to my kitchen for today, for today's episode of Vlogmas. Upload of Vlogmas video, whatever. So today I'm actually going to be talking about an identification in a giant case, one I've never talked about before because of them still trying to identify the last remaining victims of this serial killer. So I want to give a shout out to Maniac 1111. He's the one that asked me if I could cover this 2 days ago because they identified this person. So this is a recently identified victim of Gary Ridgway. We're going to be talking about B17 or Bones 17 or Jane Doe Bones 17. So there is two discrepancies in this case that I will talk about, and it's about when she was found. So 15-year-old Lorianne Razpotnik has been identified as that of Bone 17, which is one of the few remaining unidentified victims of the infamous Green River killer, Gary Ridgway. There's only one left unidentified, which is Bones or B20 or Jane Doe Bones 20. She is the last one that's unidentified. Lorianne Razpotnik ran away from home back in 1982, where she lived in Lewis County, Washington. And this is about 75 miles away from Auburn, Washington, where her remains would be found, and where another set of remains would be found with her, which is Bone 16. Now, Bone 16 was identified as that of Sandra Majors back in 2012. So we don't have to worry about her identification because we already know who she is. So these remains were found along an embankment. Now, she was found, it says 3 different dates. The most reported one is the one in 1985, which is in December 30th of 1985, when employees of Auburn were, so Auburn is 25 miles south of Seattle. So employees from Auburn were looking into a car that had gone over an embankment, and apparently this is when they found the sets of remains. But I do have a discrepancy about this because I did find that part of her was found on February 18th of 1984, that they were skeletal, and the remainder was found on January 2nd of 1986, sorry. So some source materials say multiple different years. So there's 1985, 1984, 1986. Either way, the one in 1985 and in 1986 are super close. So it could be date of discovery and then when they fully removed them. But these remains were investigated by the Green River Task Force that was put together in an effort to figure out who killed these people. So the investigators on the case would end up using Parabon Nanolabs to help with identifying this Jane Doe. Parabon is great, just like Othram. They are fantastic. They do their work. They make sure whoever they're trying to figure out who it is, they will do their best to do it. And they do it the correct way. They don't do it in a half-assed shitty way. So they were able to build a DNA profile that would lead them to her mother, and with the help of a sample, a biological sample from her mother, they then were able to confirm that it indeed was Lori who was Bone 17, and this was then publicly announced on December 19th of 2023, same day as Sahara Sue. Lori is believed to have died somewhere between spring or summer of 1983, per what Gary Ridgway has said about her death and all of his killings. Although it has not been released what the true nature of the cause of death in the case of B17 is, but it is confirmed that she was skeletal in nature and that Gary Ridgway admitted to her death. He also admitted that she was placed near some of his other victims and that she was near a cemetery, which when remains were found on January 2nd of 1986, part of her was indeed found across from Mountain View Cemetery in Auburn, and she was in a ravine. So that makes sense. The other part of her was found at the address of the 5400 block on South 331st Street in Federal Way, Washington. In addition to her being identified, obviously we have Bones 20, which I think I'm going to cover in another future video. So probably sometime next week after Christmas, you'll see that video, just so you guys can kind of understand. To add to this case, there's actually 3 missing women in which they believe are linked to Gary Ridgway or the Green River Killer, and these are Cassie Ann Lee, Kelly Kay McGinnis, and Patricia Ann Osborne, and they're all missing or last seen in the area of Seattle in the 1980s, the early 1980s to be exact. Now, Gary Ridgway is a crazy, crazy man, and I know I discussed this before when it comes to different serial killers and stuff. And a lot of people, a lot of serial killers to be exact, they choose people that are not going to be missed. A lot of them are runaways, a lot of them are just transients, and even if they are gonna be missed, they have a tendency of running away from home and then coming back after a period of time, which this happens. I've talked about it multiple times in different videos that I've done. And Gary Ridgway, what was his I bet you can't even assume what he did for a job. Well, he was a truck driver, if I'm not mistaken. And since he was on the road a lot, a lot of his issues that he had, which stemmed from him sexually, he took them out on people that he loved, which included his wives because he was married multiple times. He was married 3 times. And he took it out on people that he eventually would kill. And how do I put this in the best way possible? He killed a lot of people. She is just one of, I think it's like 40, yeah, she's one of 49 people that he killed. He has he has the highest kill count. He was convicted of 49 murders. 49. And they believe that he was active from 1982 to 1998. So that's a lot of ground that they have to cover in order to figure out exactly any missing people, any John or Jane Doe's, presumably just Jane Doe's, because you know, yes. So any Jane Does that are still unidentified, are they linked to him? The manner of, well, we don't know exactly how they died. He has talked about strangling them um, post him getting his gratification. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the Green River Killer? I'm quite interested. I'm intrigued by this man because he's yeah, yeah, and he intrigues me just like Robert Hansen does. So, what are your thoughts? Leave them in comments down below. I would love to know. Hopefully, the comments are there. A lot of the videos I've been uploading, when I upload them, the thing about comments is not there. So it just means that comments are turned off, and I don't know why. So if you can't comment, you can also shoot me a message. There is a link for like case things. You just have to copy it and put it in put it in the search bar so you can shoot me an email or whatever, or you can email me. My email is on my about. You can also go over to Instagram. My Instagram is Lizaustin19, or you can go over to TikTok. I forget what my TikTok handle is, but it's somewhere. It's in the description down below. So just let me know what you think about him because I'm rather intrigued by this man because he is messed up. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys tomorrow for my Christmas up upload update. Yes, bye.